This podcast is supported by patrons. You can find a full list of them in the description of this episode. Hello, listeners and viewers of Good Morning BSS World podcast. This is Wiktor, Doktor, and today we are connecting again to Africa. We are going to Ghana, where I have my special guest today, who is David Gowu. David, how are you?
Hi, Victor, I'm fine. How are you too?
I am very, very well. We just for our listeners and viewers, we have first met in Berlin a few weeks ago because you were present over there, as well as the representatives of many companies and many countries from Africa. How did you enjoy the Berlin trip?
It was a fascinating one. I was really surprised about the exposure given to us when we all converged in Berlin. And really a connecting point, right? I mean, I met you there and now we are on this podcast. So this is fantastic.
Yeah, this is how it works. Whenever I meet interesting people who are representing interesting organizations, this is actually the way how this podcast is being created and how we are sharing globally the content which we are here to go through. And just to allow our viewers and listeners to know you better, just tell us a few words about who you are and who do you represent.
Thank you very much. My name is David Gowu. I live here in Accra, a bustling city, a beautiful place, warm and humid, but really an exciting city for people who want to come here. And also I represent an organization called Business Outsourcing Services Association of Ghana, which is BOSAG for short. And this organization is the leading BPO ITO organization in Ghana, supporting the ecosystem and facilitating trade, and basically building a GBS community here in Ghana.
Thank you very much. So now you can already know that today we will focus more on Ghana and more on BOSAG as the organization. So David has already shared a few details, but maybe let's make a step back and let's do some kind of a description of Ghana as the BPO and ITO destination, the country where this industry is present already and it's growing. Can you share with us some details?
Yeah, so Ghana has been preparing for this industry for the past 2 decades. We started with local companies, and today we have one of our oldest BPO companies, ESAL Services, which is E-Services Africa Limited, that has been in operations for the past 20 years. And then later on, we realized that we have the most important ingredient in the BPO sector, which is the talent. And we are growing a big pool of young people in Ghana, and young people that are educated and young people that are eager to learn new technologies and eager to work with international companies. So a lot of now big players are beginning to move to Ghana. So we currently have already 2 of the big players in Ghana, Concentrix and Teleperformance, and they are already getting very good reports from Ghana in terms of the talent here, the quality of the talent, and most importantly, the price point at which they are getting these talents to deliver services. Ghana is currently one of they are, emerging destinations for the players. Then we also have some ITOs, some companies that are in the IT services. Amalitech is the biggest so far. We have 4IR and many others that are also operating. Turntable, they are providing financial services, telecom services, and other services to companies in Europe and the US. So this is something that we are very excited about, and we think that now Ghana is ready to move up because we have some interesting statistics that I'll share with you.
Perfect. People love data, so the statistics are always very, very welcome. I have put some notes in here, and Concentrix and TP, Teleperformance, those are really, really big international brands. As far as I know, they are present in Ghana, but also in some other African countries. So it looks like Africa has become very attractive for those two big players. You mentioned that the quality of talent is something what they do appreciate, and this is something what stands behind of the growth of this industry. Do you have some maybe data about the talent pool which Ghana has from the perspective of the BPO and ITO industry?
Yeah, so talent is the first ingredient that companies will look for when they want to go to a destination. And what are the languages and what are the proficiencies? For example, in Ghana, we have a big pool of B2 proficiency in terms of language, English language in Ghana. And that big pool is over 400,000 young people in this big pool. And we have a big addressable market as well, over 600,000 young people that can easily be trained and move into this pool. And then also for companies that want to ramp up quickly, every month you can actually get a pool of 20,000 young people that you can actually move into the BPO space. So we have the capacity now to be able to absorb a lot if companies want to come in. Then we also have a very active tech ecosystem. There are a lot of tech hubs. There are a lot of startups that are in Ghana, and then there are also AI companies that are operating in Ghana. One is Impuntu Technologies, which is a local AI company that is developing application and solution for company abroad. So there's a lot of talent, both for CS, what we call the customer experience, and also for ITO.
Perfect. And let's focus now on the markets which are being supported from Ghana. You mentioned already US and Europe. Are there any specific countries in Europe which are more, let's say, you are focusing more as the Ghanaian BPO ITO industry, or this is just overall Europe as such?
No, there are three markets that we are currently having a lot of seats: Germany, Switzerland, and the UK. So these three countries are actually destinations where we are actually outsourcing a lot of BPO and ITO services, and in the US as well. US mainly for customer experience.
Yeah, the whole world is supporting US. They are the first ones to choose the offshore providers from either Europe, Asia, or Africa, or the Latam region. Yeah.
Yeah, but and then that's true. That's true. And but there's also an emerging destination or buyers coming from Europe, particularly in Germany, in Switzerland, and they're looking at high-end areas, highly skilled domains like IT.
Okay, so let's now move to BOSAG, so to the place, to the organization which you are representing. Just tell us about what's the mission of BOSAG. What do you do? How do you work? And what's the main purpose of the activities of BOSAG?
Yeah. Looking at the data that I shared earlier on, I mean, we have a big pool of talent. Ghana is a very thriving country. We have democracy here, fourth with ease of doing business in Africa, very good English-speaking population, and all the factors that enable companies to come to Ghana, we already have it. And also Ghana is positioned latitude, longitude zero. We are in the center of the world. Therefore, I mean, companies who are in Europe or America can still connect with us with time difference that is almost close to theirs. So this data, this environment, this kind of statistics means that more companies are supposed to be in Ghana. However, we did not have an ecosystem multiplier or accelerator, or what you call an ecosystem builder that is a one-stop shop that helps these companies to look at Ghana and also to sell Ghana as a destination to the buyer market out there. So this informed us to set up BOSAG, which is a trade association for companies in the BPO space. And then we launched the association a year ago. We have over a dozen companies, including the big two that I mentioned, that are part of BOSAG, and the local companies and the ITOs, and also important players as training providers who provide training to the BPO companies. And the whole concept here is, how do we use this platform to basically begin to showcase Ghana as a destination, number one. Number two, facilitate trade with other countries, and also work with government to put in policy and regulation that gives these BPO and ITO companies the right environment to be able to strive, the right environment to be able to grow. And there are agencies and that the various ministries that are actually able to support them. But we need an organization like BOSAG to help companies to be able to work effectively with these agencies, like Ghana Investment Promotion Center, which is GIPC, or Ghana Free Zone Authority, and other agencies. So that is the main purpose of establishing BOSAG as an industry or trade association.
Okay, so it looks like you are in the, let's say, middle point between various governmental agencies, the education system, and also the business as such.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you know, if, for example, Wiktor, if you want to come to Ghana now, say, okay, I've seen all these statistics, it looks great, I want to test it out, I want to come to Ghana and see. When you get to the airport, who do you want to speak to? Who do you want to show you the various agencies and the pitfalls and things to avoid, and things, where to get real estate, where to get started, how to register? So BOSAG is now that one-stop shop from the industry or the trade perspective to give you that soft landing to be able to now explore and then settle down and begin to expand your business. So that is what we do as a trade association.
Is BOSAG also a part of the African BPO Federation?
Yes, BOSAG is a founding member of the federation, the African BPO Federation. Yesterday we had a webinar looking at Africa as a destination. You know, by 2050, Africa will be the home of 1/4 of the world's workforce. It means that every 4 people that you see working across the globe, 1 person will be coming from Africa. And that means that companies that are looking at diversifying or moving some of their services to a younger population must begin to look at Africa. But if you cannot just jump and come to Africa, it's made up of 55 countries, and we definitely need proper coordination to ensure that we are able to create an enabling environment for companies to be able to set up and be comfortable at work. So it's not only about safaris and seeing wild animals, it's also a home where you can get talent.
Yeah, this is something what I do have a lot of time when talking about Africa as the BPO destination, that people are usually thinking Africa is a safari place, is a nice tourist place, it is, you know, a warm place and so on and so on. But definitely from the business perspective, it creates a lot of business opportunities, and this information, this knowledge of what you can find over there, it is absolutely critical to be shared. And talking about that, you mentioned webinars that you are organizing or running. What other such activities are being run or maybe are planned by BOSAG, like, for example, conferences, some reports, or this kind of stuff?
Yeah, just to pick up from the point you raised. So when we talk about Africa, I'll give you a typical example. In November last year, we traveled to Portugal for a conference, and we had a stand. And we, in our booth, people walk past, and then, you know, they say, Ghana, what are you guys doing here? You know, I thought you guys are actually here, selling cocoa beans or something like that. Like, no, we are actually in the GBS, sector. We actually have talent, and we have a conducive environment for companies to set up here. So the first thing BOSAG is looking at is how do we make Ghana an attractive destination to the BPO or ITO ecosystem community, the big community of GBS. How do we also raise the flag of Ghana and say that, hey, we are here, we are an emerging destination, and come and try it out. So that's the first thing that we want to do as an association. Then also, if you invite the companies, as I mentioned earlier on, we want to make sure that we give them soft landing. We want to make sure that they are happy and they are able to expand here. We want to create an enabling environment for them by ensuring that we eliminate all the red tapes and get them the incentives that they need to be able to set up and work in Ghana. One of those big incentives is the free zone. If you are in Ghana and you are outsourcing services to other countries, if you are sourcing up to 70% of your services out of the country, you can actually apply and get a 10-year tax-free, so tax exemption for companies that set up here and outsource their services. And there are so many other incentives that can be given to those companies. But they can only know about it if BOSAG is able to show the way and give them the right directions.
Yeah, it's good that you have mentioned about those incentives, because after the human capital, I would say, about the certain destinations, the incentives is another thing which the BPO, ITO, or GBS companies are being interested in. Yeah, so you say 10 years of tax-free period.
Yeah.
That's a significant, I would say, element.
Yeah. So it's a simple form. You take it, you fill it up, and we can support you with all the supporting document that you need. And then the moment you are a company that is set up here in Ghana, and you can prove that you have 70% of your services outsourced outside the country, you are able to assess that. And what does that give you? You are able to import all your equipment, all your furniture and everything that you need to be able to set up. You're able to import them without paying taxes on them. So there will be no import tax at the port, and you also don't pay corporate tax for the first 10 years if you are able to hire people, young people here in Ghana, and give them the service.
And talking about setting business in Ghana, how long does it take? If I, for example, wanted to open a BPO company, what should I be aware of?
A typical registration of your company is not more than a week. Typical registration is 3 days to 1 week maximum. So the moment you have all the documents, you can go online, apply, and then you can get it within 3 days. Then, of course, if you are a foreign company only, and then we go to the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, and then we go through the requirements, and quickly you're able to settle it. So like I said, Ghana is ranked number 4 in Africa with ease of doing business.
That sounds really interesting, to be honest. And now focusing on BOSAG members, how many of them do you have? We already have few names of this. We know already that BOSAG is 1 year old, or a little bit above the year. How many members do you have already?
So BPO companies are 10 in Ghana, and then we also have service providers that are tailored towards BPO, so that we create a strong talent pool for the companies to be able to hire. You're not going to come to Ghana to set up and start wondering, where am I going to get a talent from? Am I going to go to the universities to speak to them? What we do is we have what we call a job readiness program run by some of our training partners that ensures that the people are trained and they meet the specification of the BPO company. So they work closely together. So we have also about a dozen of these companies that are working closely with us.
David, thank you very much. You have shared with me a lot of details. Did we miss anything important from this, what BOSAG is and how you are working, how you are providing, all of this, what you have mentioned during today's talk?
Yeah, one thing I want to talk about is Ghana, for that matter, most African countries want to leapfrog the traditional BPO services. Because of the introduction of AI, we are actually ensuring that the training and capacity building of the talent is actually future ready. What I mean by future ready is these people are either in spaces where they're not only trained to be call center agents, they also trained to use AI agents. So what we call them agentic AI, where you use some of these tools to be able to deliver services to client more efficiently. I'll give you a typical example. If you call a typical call center now, and some of them in Ghana, the first interaction will be with a bot, which you're going to ask basic questions. And then if it becomes something more complex, not the usual frequently asked questions, then it transfers you seamlessly to an agent to continue the rest of the conversation. And this is where you see agents who are humans working with agentic AI, which are AI capable agents working closely together. Then we also have companies in Ghana that are developing these AI agents. As I mentioned, Fourth IR is one of them. Impuntu Technology is another. There are so many other companies that are, basically building what we call LLM, large language models for companies abroad. They develop these models and then they actually support companies abroad, because companies may not be able to get enough talent to train these LLMs. So basically, BOSAG is also trying to position Ghana not only as a BPO destination, but with a niche of focusing on AI.
Yeah, I believe you just have to do so, because now everyone is focusing on AI, so not having it as a part of the business would be really hard and difficult.
Absolutely.
Okay, David, thank you very much. It was absolutely a great talk, but I always ask my guests at the very, very end of our talks where I should direct them if they would like to know more about Ghana, more about BOSAG. What kind of web pages or what kind of institutions would you recommend to go to?
Okay, so like I said, the first stop is BOSAG. So as the name says, www.bosag.org, which is bosag.org. That's our website. That's the main organization that supports this. If you are an investor and you're looking at, okay, I want to speak to a government agency, then your first government agency is Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC. And that's it. But BOSAG will be your number one stop that will take you to all the things that you need, including support to getting to GIPC.
So I will make sure that those web pages as well as your LinkedIn profile are being added to the description of today's talk. So if anyone is interested in getting more details, then we will make this easier to our listeners.
Yeah. You can find us also on LinkedIn, same thing, business outsourcing or BOSAG. You'll find us on LinkedIn, and you can also get into my personal LinkedIn, David Gowu. I think I'm so unique. If you type my name, you find me on LinkedIn.
I will make sure that those links are being added to the description of today's talk. David, thank you very much. It was absolutely a great pleasure to get familiar. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure talking to you.